Welcome, ghouls, ghosts, mere mortals, to Hidden Creek Manor. Now, as you can see from this pile behind me, we have been quite busy during the off-season preparing for the 2024 haunt. And, well, now that it's August, it's time to get to work. So, in this video, we're going to go over the 2024 haunt planning. We're going to go over all of the stuff that you see behind me and how we're going to be adding it into our haunt this year. And we're going to go over each of the sections of the haunt, changes that we're making, and plans for the future. So let's just jump into it. Buckle up, buttercups. It's going to be a wild ride. So 2024 seems to be the year of animatronics here at the Hidden Creek Manor. This off-season we have been quite busy acquiring quite a few new animatronics for our haunt this year. So just a quick run through of the list of new animatronics that you guys are going to be seeing in our haunt this year. We got a new witch to go in our Forbidden Forest. We got an animatronic Yoda. We got an animatronic hearse. And then we got the skeleton pony to go along with that hearse. We got a headless horseman animatronic. We got a Zero animatronic to go with our 13-foot Jack Skellington. We got a new ship wheel to go in Kraken's Cove. And we might have got a ghost. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll say I'm like 80% sure that we bought a ghost on clearance last year at the end of the year, at the end of the season. Now, like I said, I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. Whenever we get to our storage building where all of our decorations are, we'll find out if it's there or not, but I'm pretty sure there's a ghost as well. All right, so now that we've taken a look at all the animatronics that we got during the off-season, let's take a look at the different sections of the haunt and what you guys can look forward to in 2024. So the section that has probably the biggest changes this year is going to be the Hidden Creek Cemetery. We are expanding the cemetery quite a bit. Now, in order to expand, we had to move Zombie Outbreak. We'll get a little bit more into that in a little bit. But that just opened up so much more space for the cemetery and allowed us to move forward with some of the plans that we've been thinking about previously. And one of the biggest new additions to that cemetery is we're going to be adding a fence around the entire thing. And it's going to have posts and lamps and a gate. A lot of work going into it. We're going to release a series of videos showing you guys how we're building it, but I'm really excited about that cemetery fence. But beyond that, this year, the rest of what we're adding to the cemetery is primarily going to be animatronics. We're adding that hearse that I mentioned earlier with the skeleton pony. We're going to add the headless horseman to that section as well. And then we'll probably add a few tombstones this year. So some really cool things going on in the cemetery and some really cool future plans to look forward to in the future years. Now, as I mentioned, Zombie Outbreak is going away, or at least it's moving in order to make sure we have room for that Hidden Creek Cemetery. So we're moving the Zombie Outbreak from the front yard to the side yard, right next to Halloween Town. We're not really making any changes to it. We're not really adding anything, just moving it to a separate section. Another section of the haunt that is getting some major changes is the Forbidden Forest. Previously, the Forbidden Forest was home to our witches and our ghosts and our spiders. Well, if you remember last year, we didn't put the ghosts up. We ran out of time. This year, we're not going to have any ghosts either. Not because we're running out of time, but because we are moving them eventually to the Hidden Creek Cemetery. Not this year, but they will eventually make their return with a lot of other cool new ghost features. But the Forbidden Forest, we're going to focus solely on the witches and the spiders. And because of that, we are going to expand the witches this year. We're adding that animatronic that I mentioned earlier. We're also adding a witch's hut. The witch's hut, pretty excited about that. We're going to be building it from scratch. We're also going to be adding a lot of little decorations and trinkets that we've been acquiring from different thrift stores locally. So we're going to have a witch's hut, and that's going to be really cool. For Kraken's Cove, not really a lot changing for the most part. We are going to be adding the ship wheel that I mentioned earlier. That ship wheel kind of moves on its own back and forth, so we're going to be attaching a skeleton ship captain to that, so we're going to be releasing some videos about that. Another animatronic that I did not mention earlier in the video is we're also adding the Kraken animatronic from Lowe's, and we're going to try to combine that with our Kraken tentacles we have currently to make it look like just a cohesive unit, just one Kraken with lots of tentacles. So some pretty cool things going on with that as well. And the last section that we're making changes to is the Halloween Town, and it's really just one change. This year we're planning on adding that Zero animatronic to go along with the 13-foot Jack. It's really cool. It doesn't really move or anything, it just lights up, but still very cool to have Zero there with Jack. We might add a Zero doghouse, just depending on if we have time, but for now the plan is just to add that Zero. No changes for Scarecrow's Harvest this year. Maybe in the future we'll add some hay bales and some corn stalks, but this year it's going to look pretty much the same as it did last year. Now, the projection show unfortunately isn't making any changes this year. In the past, I used to like to make new shows every year. It's just with all these new animatronics and all the big changes that we're making to the rest of the haunt, we're just going to stick with the same show that we had last year. And we might even scale back one of my plans that I was really hoping to get to, which is those singing busts. The reason we're scaling that back, though, is because eventually I'd like to move those to the cemetery. Now, once again, it might make it into the haunt this year, just like we tried to get into the haunt last year. Once again, time permitting, we'll see if that happens, but don't expect to see the singing busts this year.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are as excited for the 2024 haunt season as we are here at the Hidden Creek Manor. Now, if you want to stick around, see us build some of these things, see us put together some of these animatronics, and get the 2024 haunt season put together, consider subscribing to the channel so that way you can stay up to date and notified with all the videos that we make. But for now, we're going to end the video, so happy haunting, and we'll see you in the next one.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. As a reward for sticking around, you may now watch one of these two videos. The choice is yours, but choose wisely.